The following matchup is being played with History Maker Baseball Express, a fast-playing baseball simulation board game, a property of Play Games LLC, copyright 2022, all rights reserved. Welcome to today's episode of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. In today's episode, we are going to be kicking off our second and final week, highlighting MLB Stars who played at the Little League Baseball World Series. As today, we are focusing in on Jonathan Schoop as he leads the Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins as they take on the 2019 New York Yankees on the latest installment of Rivalry Night. Who will come in on top of this matchup? I guess you're going to have to stay tuned to find out for yourself because first pitch for game one is just around the corner. But first, let's have a little look and say thank you to our official Play Game sponsors for sponsoring today's episode of Rivalry Night as part of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. We would like to take this time to say thank you to our official Play Game sponsors for sponsoring today's episode of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. First and foremost, thank you to Biddy Beer for sponsoring every mid-game and end-of-game summary throughout every episode of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. And again, we remind you, if you choose to drink Biddy Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste at a Biddy price. It's Biddy Beer. They say it's a blend of hops, rice, and barley that gives Biddy Beer its distinctive taste, but we know better. It's our brewing process that gives our beer that one-of-a-kind flavor that no premium beer can match. Our bats have never been cleaned, so there's an itty-bitty bit of history in every can. Biddy Beer, the beer for folks who can't afford better. And by Doc Cola, the official cola drink of the Play Games community. And every game that we go to extra innings, it is a Doc Cola extra innings ball game. Doc Cola uses the finest imitation ingredients to bring you that sugary blast of caffeine you've come to know and love. With twice the sugar and 3 times the caffeine of any other major brand, Doc Cola is sure to keep you wired from dawn till dusk. So take the Doc Cola challenge and see why our customers agree. You'll never be able to wean yourself from a refreshing Doc Cola. And by Pizza Kingdom. At Pizza Kingdom, our signature New York style pizza starts with the crust. Then we layer on a homemade pizza sauce and then load your pizza up with mounds of cheese. When it comes out of the oven, it's piping hot, golden brown, and ready for you to enjoy. And then we give that majestic culinary work of art to Mickey, our 16-year-old delivery driver who's as responsible as a tree stump. Pizza Kingdom, it's sheer perfection when it left the store. And by Suncoast Capital. At Suncoast, we live by one simple rule of investing. When your clients win, we win. And when our clients lose, we win, sort of. Suncoast Capital. You know we're gonna get all of your money anyway. And by Rubicon Wireless. Why pay $200 a month for wireless service when you can get 4 lines for just $25 a month? With our tin can plan, you can access our wireless network that covers at least 25% coast to coast between the hours 11 p.m. and 4:30 a.m. with unlimited text and messaging between those hours, of course. So why pay for a service you cannot live without? And we're just about set and ready to go for game one of this episode of Rivalry Night as we are featuring and resuming our week 2 of our 2-week featurette on MLB Stars who played at the Little League Baseball World Series. Today's featured player, who was famously known for playing at the Little League World Series, was on the Minnesota Twins, the starting second baseman, Jonathan Schoop. And again, this game is being played with History Maker Baseball Express. And here are your probable starters for game one as we get set to get things going here, as Jake Odorizzi will be on the hill for the Minnesota Twins as he is finishing up his warm-up tosses, and he'll be opposed by CC Sabathia. Odorizzi again is a semi-star, flash, and a semi-control pitcher. CC Sabathia is a workman, flash, and semi-control pitcher. And again, this game is being played with History Maker Baseball Express, as all the games in this episode are being played with History Maker Baseball Express. And for freshness, I play it as 3 full fresh, 3 semi-fresh. And if we come to a result that has, that asks for if a team is harmonious or dishonored or not, everyone is on a neutral playing field. So with that being said, let's play ball from Target Field for game one of this episode of Rivalry Night. We'll begin game one of this episode with a 1-3-4. Ace pitcher on Odorizzi. He's not. Champ on DJ LeMahieu. He is a semi-champ. The decider die says yes, he is. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. DJ LeMahieu is a semi-stoic runner. The decider die says, oh, he's not. So therefore, the Yankees are not going to pull their trump card yet. So they will place the runner safely on first and second, and that'll bring up Aaron Judge off the men on base chart. 24. Goldfielder makes the out. Max Kepler is a semi-gold fielder, and the decider die says yes, he is. So he makes a spectacular catch out in right field to end the top half of the first, as the Yankees threaten but do not score. It's Yankees nothing, and the Twins are coming to bat in their half of the first inning. 1-3-4. Is CC Sabathia a ace pitcher? He's not. Champ on Jorge Polanco. He's not. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 1 blank. Ace, no, champ, no, yes. It'll be a no runs result of a 1 blank, and that will seal up the deal for the first inning of play here at Target Field for game one of this episode of Rivalry Night between the 2019 Yankees and the 2019 Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins. 2-3-4. Pitcher not fresh. Well, again, as mentioned earlier, I play it as 3 full fresh, 3 semi-fresh. So in this case, since we're still in the full freshness innings, Jake Odorizzi is still fresh. 2, 3, 4. Here we are. Sad sack on Luke Boyd. He's not a sad sack. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result, -1 for the black die of control. Jake Odorizzi has semi-control. The decider die was not used, so therefore, he does not have control. So therefore, it'll place runners at the corners for Gary Sanchez to hit off the men on base chart. 0-11. Batting team harmony or pitching team dishonor. Again, no one is taking full advantage of who's harmonious or who's dishonored or not. So therefore, it will be a ground out to end the second inning here at Target Field with your score of a big fat goose egg between the Yankees and the Twins. 1-5-6. Ace on CC Sabathia. No. Sad sack on Nelson Cruz. No. That'll be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash. CC Sabathia has flash. So from bases loaded to runners on second and third, that'll bring up Eddie Rosario to bat off the men on base chart. 14. Scrapper hits single. Eddie Rosario is not a scrapper. Therefore, it's going to be a double, and the first 2 runs of the ball game are going to go Minnesota's way as Eddie Rosario hits a 2 RBI double, a bases clearing double, I should say, as the Yankees, or excuse me, as the Twins, I should say, now lead it over the Yankees 2-0 as we resume off the men on base chart for CJ Cron. 25. Iron fielder commits the error. Gleyber Torres is not an iron fielder, so therefore it will be a ground out, but not before damage was done, as the Minnesota Twins take charge of the New York Yankees 2-0. 135. Ace on Odorizzi. So far, no. 135. Here we are. Champ on Brett Gardner. He's not a champ. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 5 blank, and that will seal up the deal for the first 2.5 innings here at Target Field in St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota, with your score: Twins 2, Yankees nothing. 2-3-4. Pitcher not fresh. Well, again, we're in the final half inning of freshness for both starters, as CC Sabathia is considered fresh. Sad sack on Miguel Sano. He's not a sad sack. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result with a -1 for the black die of control. CC Sabathia has semi control, and the decider die says he does not. They're going to place the runners again safely on at first and second for our highlight header, Jonathan Schoop, for this episode of Rivalry Night, as we continue featuring players from MLB who played at the Little League Baseball World Series. We got a 46 as we head to the men on base chart. Same reliever gets a strikeout. And again, when we say same, it's righty versus righty, lefty versus lefty. Since we have a lefty versus righty matchup, they're not the same. It will be a contact result. And I rolled the red die for my contact chart results. It's a 2. Sad sack on Schoop. No. So Jonathan Schoop will tack on an RBI. Another run comes home for the Twins as they now lead it over the Yankees 3-0 after 3 innings of play. 1-2-3. Is Jake Odorizzi a workman or struggler pitcher? He's not. Champ on Cameron Maybin. He's not. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 1 blank, and that will seal up the deal for the first 3.5 innings here at Target Field. The Twins hang on to their 3-0 lead over the Evil Empire New York Yankees. 3-4-5. Star on Sabathia. No. 3-4-5. Here we are. Sad sack on Jason Castro. He's not. Therefore, it will be a men on base result -1 for the black die if flash or control. CC Sabathia has flash, so that 3 will be reduced to a 2. But CC has semi control, and the decider die says he does not. Star. No. Sansak, no. Yes, decider die was not used. So CC Sabathia does not have control. So that 3 will be reduced to a 2 as they will place Jason Castro on at second base for Byron Buxton to hit off the men on base chart. Oh, we got a 12. Slugger hits home run. Byron Buxton is a slugger. That ball is not coming back, folks. It is gone. Byron Buxton hits a 2-run home run to give the Twins a 5-0 lead, and that manager for the New York Yankees is really thinking about getting the bullpens going here pretty soon as we continue to roll on the men on base chart with nobody on for Max Kepler. 45. Fresh pitcher gets the ground out. Since we're in the semi-freshest innings now, and I go by it as dot, he's still fresh. Blank, he's not. Since the decider die says he still is, since the decider die says that CC Sabathia is still fresh, he will get the ground out of Max Kepler to end the first 4 innings here at Target Field, but not before Byron Buxton delivers another home run for the Twins as they now lead it 5-0 over the New York Yankees after 4 innings of play. 244. Ace on Odorizzi. So far, he's pitching like one, but unfortunately, he does not have it. Utility on Gio Urshela. He's not a utility batter. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result, -1 for the black die. If control, Jake Odorizzi has semi-control. The decider die says he does not. So therefore, that 4 is going to place runners at the corners. And for Mike Talkman to hit off the men on base chart. 26. Home run king, it's home run. Mike Talkman is not a home run king, so therefore it will be a contact result. And again, the red die comes back out once more. It's a 6, and that is going to be a ground out to end the first 4.5 innings here at Target Field with your score still Twins 5 and the Yankees nothing. As we do see the Yankees manager go to the bullpen, we'll see who the new pitcher is after we take this really quick timeout. And it seems that the Yankees manager has decided to go with David Hale as he has star, semi-flash, and double control. For this at-bat against Jorge Polanco, Hale will have the full extent use of the flash quality. That being said, we resume action here in the bottom half of the 5th as the Twins lead it 5-0 over the Evil Empire New York Yankees. 135. Ace on Hale. No. Champ on Polanco. He's not a champ. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 1 dot. And again, we did give Hale full flash for Jorge Polanco. So rest assured that Hale will get the qualities for the no runs result when the stats are being compiled at the end of this one. That being said, we head to the 6th. The score remains Twins 5 and the Yankees nothing. 345. Star on Odorizzi. He is a semi-star, and the decider die says yes, he is. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 5 dot, and that will seal up the deal for the first 5.5 innings here at Target Field. The score remains 5-0 in favor of the 2019 Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins. 345. Star on Hale. Yes, he is. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 3 dot, and that will seal up the deal for the first 6 innings here at Target Field. Your score remains 5-0 in favor of the 2019 Minnesota Twins. 123. Workman or struggler on Odorizzi? No. Champ on Aaron Judge. Oh, no. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result, and it's time to stretch here at Target Field as it will be a no runs result of a 1 dot. As we head to the stretch, your score is Minnesota Twins 5 and the New York Yankees nothing. 114. Struggler on Hale. He's not. Champ on Eddie Rosario. He's not. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 4 dot, and that's going to end the first 7 innings here at Target Field. The Twins hang on to a 5-0 score over the Evil Empire New York Yankees. 346. Pitcher not fresh. Well, we're still in the semi-freshest innings technically because Jake Odorizzi has not given up a run after his full fresh and semi-freshness innings. So with that being said, he remains semi-fresh for this at bat for Luke Voigt, and it seems he is still fresh. Hero on Luke Voigt. He's a semi-hero. The decider die says he is not. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result with the possibility of a solo home run. Luke Voigt has semi-home run king. The blank extends the shutout. Dot, the shutout's over. And the shutout extends as Luke Voigt does not have home run king. And therefore, that'll do it for the first 7.5 innings here at Target Field as Jake Odorizzi is going to head back out there for the ninth. But before we get there, let's play the bottom half of the inning with your score. The Boomba Squad, Minnesota Twins, 5, and the Evil Empire, New York Yankees, nothing. 4-5-6. Pitcher not fresh. Well, again, David Hale is the bullpen hero arm, so therefore he is considered fresh for the remainder of the contest. Champ on CJ Crone. No. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result with the possibility of a solo home run. CJ Crone has semi home run king. The decider die says he does not have it. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 5 blank, and that'll seal up the first 8 innings here for game 1 of this episode of Rivalry Night with your score Minnesota Twins 5 and the New York Yankees nothing. Jake Odorizzi heads back out to the mound with a 1-2-3. Workman or struggler? No way. Champ on Sanchez? No. Oh man, Jake Odorizzi, what a performance he put on here in game 1, as it will be a no runs result of a 1 blank, and that is going to be the ball game, folks. Your final score here in game 1 of this episode of Rivalry Night, as we are highlighting the Minnesota Twins and the New York Yankees, as well as highlighting Jonathan Schoop as he played a part in the Little League Baseball World Series when he was a young boy. As your game 1 final score has come to a conclusion of a 5-0 score in favor of the 2019 Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins. Stay tuned for the Bitty Beer game summary, and as always, every game summary every game summary throughout this inaugural season of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour, plus a mid-game summary as well, is presented by your favorite Bitty Beer products. And again, we remind you, if you choose to drink Bitty Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste at a bitty price. It's Bitty Beer. Once again, the final score here for game 1 of this episode of Rivalry Night. The Minnesota Twins take it as Jake Odorizzi goes the distance, as the Twins take it over the Yankees 5-0. And we're just about set and ready to go for game number 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night, as we are from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx for this game, for this second game of this 3-game set between the 2019 Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins and the Bronx Bombers of the New York Yankees. Your starting probables for this game will be none other than James Paxton for the Evil Empire Yankees, as he has flash and semi-control, and he will go up against Michael Pineda for the Twins, as he has flash and double control. A couple changes for the Yankees lineup, and plus a change for the Minnesota Twins. First, for the Twins, Mitch Garver will come in to the lineup. He will catch. Gary Sanchez is out of the lineup, and he will be replaced by Austin Romine, as he will come in to catch. James Paxton, Didi Gregorius will be coming into the ball game as well, and he will play short. With that being said, James Paxton is all set and ready to go, and so is Miguel Sano. Let's get game 2 underway and find out if the Twins are going to grab a hold of this Rivalry Night series 2-0, or are the Yankees going to force a winner-take-all game back at St. Paul, Minnesota, back at Target Field? With that being said, let's play ball from the Bronx at Yankee Stadium for Game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night. We'll begin Game 2 with a 2-2-4. Ace on Paxton, no. Utility on Miguel Sano, he's not. Therefore, it will be a men on base result with a -1 for the black die of control. James Paxton has semi control, and the decider die says yes, he does. 2 to a 1. That will place Sano on at first for Jonathan Schoop. He'll bat off the men on base chart with a 12. Oh, slugger hits home run. Jonathan Schoop is not a slugger, so therefore it will be a single. Runners advancing 2 bases, and that is all the Twins are going to get here in the top half of the first as they come away with nothing. And now it's the Yankees' turn to swing the bats in front of their hometown crowd here for Game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night, as the score is Twins nothing, and the Yankees are coming to bat in the bottom half of the first inning. 2-3-5. Star on Pineda. No. Satsak on Glaber Torres. No. That'll be a men on base result. -1 for the black die of Flash. Michael Pineda has Flash from 3 to a 2. That'll place Torres on at second base for Brett Gardner to hit off the men on base chart. 23. Eager batter grounds out. Well, Brett Gardner's not eager, so therefore it'll be a walk to put runners on at first and second for Cameron Maben off the men on base chart. 35. Control pitcher. Michael Pineda has double control, so therefore it will be a ground out as we are scoreless through 1 inning of play between the Minnesota Twins and the New York Yankees here in Game 2 for this episode of Rivalry Night. 1-5-5. Ace on Paxton. No. Hero on Garver. He's a semi-hero. The decider die says he is. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Mitch Garver is a stoic runner, so from 5 to a 4, that'll place runners at the corners for Byron Buxton. He'll bat off the men on base chart with a 23. Eager grounds out. Byron Buxton is a semi-eager. However, the decider die says he is not. That is going to be a walk to load the bases for Max Kepler. We'll continue to roll on the men on base chart with a 46. Same reliever gets a strikeout. And again, when we say same, it's righty versus righty, lefty versus lefty. Since we have a lefty versus lefty matchup, Max Kepler, unfortunately, will swing and a miss for strike 3 as James Paxton offered up a low sinker down at the knees for strike 3. And the Twins strand the bases loaded as they leave ducks on the pond. Here, after an inning and a half, it's still 0-0 between the Twins and the Yankees for Game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night. 1-3-5. Ace on Pineda. No. Champ on Urshela. He's a semi-champ. The decider die says he is not. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 3 dot, and that will seal up the deal for the first 2 innings here at Yankee Stadium with no score between the Twins and the Yankees for Game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night. 2-2-3. 2-2. Here we are. Ace on Paxton. No. Utility on Polanco. He is not. Therefore, it'll be an RBI question mark result. And folks, the Twins are going to strike first once again, this time with an RBI from Jorge Polanco, as they now lead it 1-0 over the Bronx Bombers in the New York Yankees. 1-1-6. Struggler on Pineda. No. Utility on Romine. He's not a utility batter. Oh, wow. That is going to be an RBI question mark result. The black die is a 6. And there is a rule in History Maker Baseball Express where if an RBI result comes up and if the black die is a 6 and the decider die shows dot, it's not only one RBI, it's 2 RBIs. So Austin Romine will give the Yankees the lead from out of nowhere as he records 2 RBIs. And after 3 innings of play, the Bronx Bombers and the New York Yankees lead the Boomba Squad in the Minnesota Twins 2-1 after 3 innings of play. One four four. Struggler on Paxton. Sat sack on Cruz. Nope. That'll be a men on base result. -1 for the black die. If control, James Paxton has semi-control. The decider die says he most certainly does. From 4 to a 3. They're not going to play their trump card yet. They'll place runners on at first and second for Eddie Rosario. He'll take his hacks off the men on base chart. With a 24, gold fielder makes the out. DJ LeMahieu is a semi-gold fielder, and the decider die says he is. Wow, what a spectacular play by DJ LeMahieu to end the top half of the fourth as the Twins threaten but do not score. And after 3.5 innings of play, it remains Yankees 2 and the Twins 1. 145. Acer Dynamic on Pineda. No. Sat sack on Judge. Get out of here. When is Aaron Judge ever a sat sack? So therefore, it will be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash. Michael Pineda has splash from 5 to a 4. Runners at the corners. The Yankees are looking to make a little bit of noise to try to force a winner-take-all game back at Target Field. We go to the men on base chart for Luke Voigt with a 23. Eager grounds out. Luke Voigt is not an eager batter. The bases are loaded, full of Bronx Bombers for Didi Gregorius. This could put the game out of reach for the Yankees. 16. Good eye. Unfortunately, Didi Gregorius does not have a good eye. So therefore, the Yankees had their chance to add on to their lead, but it will remain a 2-1 lead for the Yankees after 4 innings of play as the Yankees leave ducklings on the pond. After 4 innings of play, again, it's Yankees 2, Twins 1. 224. Ace on Paxton. No. Utility on Rosario. No way. That'll be a men on base result. -1 for the black die of control. James Paxton has semi-control, and the decider die says he does. Go big or go home. The Twins are going to take advantage of the Yankees falter back in the bottom half of the fourth. They're going to put a runner on third. Go big or go home to try to tie this thing up. We go to the men on base chart for CJ Cron. 26. Home Run King hits home run. CJ Cron has semi-home run king. Oh, and the decider die says he does not have it. So therefore, it will be a contact result. They still have a chance to tie it up. Let's roll the red die to see and find out. 3. Sat sack or utility on Cron. No. The Twins, even though they didn't get the home run from Cron, they tie it up thanks to an RBI from CJ Cron, as it is all even at 2-all between the Twins and the Yankees after 4.5 innings of play. 146. Ace or Dynamic on Pineda? No. Sat sack on Gleyber Torres? No. That'll be a men on base result. -1 for the black die of control. Michael Pineda has double control, so from 4 to a 2, that'll place Gleyber on at second for Brett Gardner off the men on base chart. 45. Fresh pitcher gets the ground out. Since we're in the semi-freshest innings, again, I go by as dot, he's still fresh. Blank, he's not. And unfortunately, Michael Pineda is not fresh. Therefore, it's going to be a single, and the Yankees grab the lead right back thanks to an RBI single by Brett Gardner. And folks, the Twins manager is saying that's going to do it. I'm taking my starter out of the game. So, with that being said, after 5 innings of play, the score is now Yankees 3 and the Twins 2. Three, four, four. Workman on Paxton. No. Champ on Miguel Sano. He's not. Therefore, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I read that right. Workman on Paxton, no. Satsack on Sano, no. Okay, yeah, I did read that right. Okay. And on base result, -1 for the black die. If control, Paxton has semi-control. The decider die says he does not. Oh boy. Runners on first and second. They're at the corners for Jonathan Schoop to hit off the men on base chart. With a 24, gold fielder makes the out. Cameron Maben is not a gold fielder, so therefore the Twins are going to tie it up at 3-all thanks to an error by Cameron Maben as the runners will advance 90 feet, and that'll place runners on at first and second with Sano batted, Scope. Timeout while I figure this thing out. Timeout. And after further review, yes, Sano did bad. So Jonathan Schoop took this air is going to reach base via the error. So now we are on Mitch Garver off the men on base chart. Just want to make sure I played that correctly, folks. We're back underway off the men on base chart with a 46. Same reliever gets the strikeout. And again, and when we say same, it's righty versus righty, lefty versus lefty. Since we don't have the same handiness in right hand, since we have a right-hander versus lefty matchup, it's not the same. So therefore, it will be a contact result. And I will roll the red die for my contact charts. Results, it's a 6. That's going to be a ground out. And the Twins, even though the Twins tie it up thanks to an error by Cameron Maben, the Yankees are going to get out of the inning with the score right where it's at of a tie game of a 3-all score. We head to the bottom half of the 6th, but before we do see a new pitcher trotting in from the bullpen for the Twins. We'll see who that is after we take this really quick timeout. And we're back here at Yankee Stadium in Bronx as we have a new pitcher out on the hill for the Minnesota Twins as Tyler Duffy will be on the hill as he has semi-ace, double flash, and control. For this at-bat against Gio Urshela, Tyler Duffy will have the full extent use of the ace quality. With that being said, we're all dead even at 3 after 5.5 innings of play between the Twins and the Yankees. 235. Star on Duffy. No. Satsack on Urshela. No way. That is going to be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if control. Tyler Duffy. Yes, he does have control. So therefore, that 3 will be reduced to a 2, putting the runner on at second base. Yep. For Austin Romine to hit off the men on base chart. 24. Gold fielder makes the out. Byron Buxton is a semi-gold fielder. However, he misjudges the ball. And man, oh man, is that ever really, really bad. As both as the runner, as that will be an error, putting runners at the corners now for DJ LeMahieu to get things, get another rally started to hopefully cost the Twins here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 45. Fresh pitcher gets the ground out. And again, Tyler Duffy is the bullpen hero arm for the Twins. So therefore, he is considered fresh. What a way to bounce back from the error, as he will get the ground out of DJ LeMahieu. And that'll be all for the first 6 innings of play here at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees threatened but do not score. They tried to cash in off the error but couldn't. But after 6 innings of play, we're all dead even at 3-all for game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night. 2-3-4. Paxton is still out there on the mound, even though we're way past the freshest innings, as the Yankees manager decided to give him one more inning here. 2-3-4, pitcher not fresh. Again, we're way past the semi-freshest. We're way past the freshest innings. Therefore, it's a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Max Kepler is a stoic runner, so therefore that will be placing Kepler on at first base from 2 to a 1, and that'll bring up Jorge Polanco off the men on base chart. 26. Home run king, it's home run. Unfortunately, Jorge Polanco does not have a home run king, so therefore it will be a contact result. Red die comes back out once more. It's a 2. Sat sack on Polanco. No, the Twins are going to grab hold of the lead once more as they now lead it at the stretch 4-3 over the Evil Empire and the Bronx Bombers, New York Yankees. It's time to stretch here at Yankee Stadium. And while these fine folks sing a good rendition of God Bless America and a good chorus, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Tyler Duffy is going to make his way back out to the hill to hopefully try to defend this 4-3 lead for the Twins here in game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night. 'We are about to get the bottom half of the 7th underway, and a nice job well done by the fine folks here at Yankee Stadium as they sing a really good rendition of God Bless America, along with Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And we have Aaron Judge to lead things off for the Yankees. Can they try to tie things up or take the lead here in the bottom half of the inning? Let's find out right now. 3-5-6. Workman on Duffy. No. Champ on Judge. No. That is going to be a no runs result with the possibility of a solo home run. Aaron Judge has home run king. There she goes, folks. Aaron Judge hits a solo home run to tie the game up at 4. Oh boy, it's a back and forth contest. Who is going to prevail here in game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night? We'll find out. But before we get to the 8th inning, we do see a new pitcher trotting in for the bullpen. We'll find out who that is after we take this really quick timeout. We are all knotted up at 4 as we head to the top half of the 8th, and we have Zach Britton on the hill for the Yankees as he has ace and flash credited to his name. For this at bat against Nelson Cruz, Zach Britton will have the full extent use of the semi-star quality. With that being said, we're all dead even at 4 after 7 innings of play here at Yankee Stadium between the Twins and the Yankees for game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night. 3-3-6. Workman on Britton. No. Satsack on Cruz. No. That's going to be an RBI question mark result. The game will remain tied thanks to a blank on the decider die. So therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 6 dot, and that will seal up the deal for the first 7.5 innings of this one. Here for game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night, we're all locked at 4-all between the Twins and the Yankees. 2-2-4. Ace on Duffy. He's a semi-ace. The decider die says he is not. 2-2-4. Here we are. Utility on Luke Boyd. No. That'll be a man on base result. -1 for the black die if control. Tyler Duffy has control, so from 2 to a 1, I will place the runner on at first base for Didi Gregorius. he has a chance to give the Yankees the lead to hopefully give Britton a chance to get a save here in this one. We'll have to wait and see what the stats say at the end of this one. With that being said, we head to the men on base chart for Didi Gregorius off the men on base chart with a 33. Wow, scrapper hit single. Gregorius is not a scrapper. Therefore, he is, and that is going to be an go ahead triple. And the Yankees take a 5-4 lead over the Minnesota Twins here in game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night, as that will bring up Gleyber Torres off the men on base chart with Didi on at third base. 36. Active batter gets runners advance 2 bases single plus a stolen base. Unfortunately, Gleyber Torres is not an active runner, so therefore that is going to be a contact result. Red die comes out once more. It's a 1. Okay, so first things first, we're going to look for a flash pitcher versus a whiffer batter. We have a semi-whiffer batter, and according to the decider die we have a double flash pitcher, so therefore we're going to roll the decider die once more. Dot, it's a strikeout. Blank, it's 6-4 Yankees. It is 6-4 Yankees as Gleyber Torres gets an RBI, and that is going to do it for the 8th inning here at Yankee Stadium as the Yankees get 2 runs across home as they score 2 runs here in the 8th inning. In their half of the 8th, it's now Yankees 6, Twins 4 as we head to the 9th inning. Last call for the Boomba Squad 2019 Twins here in game 2 to hopefully send to tie things up or take the lead here in game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night. 1-2-4. Ace on Duffy. He's a semi-ace. Ace on Britton. I'm sorry, I read the wrong card. Sorry. Ace on Britton. He is. Therefore, it'll be a no-runs result of a 4 blank, and that is the ball game. The Yankees tie up the series at 1 game apiece, heading back to Target Field for Game 3 of this episode of Rivalry Night. As both teams won a game, we'll have the winner-take-all matchup for you right after we take a look at the Bitty Bear game summary presented by your favorite Bitty Bear products. And again, we remind you, if you choose to drink Bitty Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste at a bitty price. It's Bitty Beer. Once again, the final score here for Game 2 of this episode of Rivalry Night. The Yankees crawl away with 2 runs in the 8th to take this back-and-forth battle over the Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins by the final score of 6-4. Winner takes it all here in Game 3 of this episode of Rivalry Night, as both the Yankees and the Twins have won 1 game each. Game 1 went to the Twins by the final score of 5-0, and most recently in the Bronx, the Yankees walked away from a back-and-forth battle with the Twins as they took Game 2 by the final score of 6-4. It's time to figure out between these 2 squads who is the best home run hitting squad, the Boomba Squad or the Bronx Bombers? It's time to find out here for Game 3, as your probable starters are Jose Barrios for the Twins, as he has semi-star, flash, and control. He'll be going up against Masahiro Tanaka, who has semi-workman, flash, and control. With that being said, Brett Gardner's ready to lead things off for the Yankees as they try to look to build some momentum from the bottom half of the 8th inning back in Game 2. Can they try to do it? Let's find out right now as we're ready to play ball from Target Field. The winner of this one will win the episode of Rivalry Night. We'll begin Game 3 in this winner-take-all matchup with a 2-4-6. Star on Barrios. He is a semi-star. The decider die says he's not. Champ on Gardner. He's not. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result with the possibility of a solo home run. Brett Gardner has semi home run king. The decider die says he does not have it. So, therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 4 blank, and that'll seal up the deal for the first half inning of play. Your score is Yankees nothing, and the Twins are coming to bat in their half of the first inning. 156. Ace on excuse me. Ace on Tanaka. No. Satsack on Crone. No siree. That's going to be a men on base result with a -1 for the black die if flash. Masahiro Tanaka has flash from 5 to a 4. That puts runners at the corners for Miguel Sano. 26. Home run king, it's home run. Miguel Sano is going to hit one high, far, and it is gone. Miguel Sano gives the Minnesota Twins a 3-0 lead over the New York Yankees here in Game 1 of this, or excuse me, in Game 2 of this episode, or excuse me, this winner-take-all matchup, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself, jeez. Of this episode of Rivalry Night, as Miguel Sano delivers a 3-run jack to make it Twins 3 and the Yankees nothing as we resume play here on the Men on Base chart with Jonathan Schoop up at the dish. 36. Active batter gets runners advanced 2 bases single plus a stolen base. Jonathan Schoop is not an active runner, so therefore it will be a contact result. Will it be 4-0? Let's find out. I roll the red die for my contact chart results, and it won't. It's a 6. Ground out, and that will end things here in the first inning of play here at Target Field for this winner-take-all matchup between the Twins and the Yankees as the Twins walk away with a 3-0 lead after 1 inning of play. 135. Ace on Barrios. No. Champ on Aaron Hicks. He's not. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 3 blank, and that will seal up the deal for the first inning and a half of this one here at Target Field, with your score remaining 3-0 in favor of the Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins. 356. Workman on Tanaka. He's a semi-workman. The decider die says, oh, yes, he is. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Jason Castro is a stoic runner, so Yankees fans can breathe a sigh of relief as it was go from bases loaded to runners on second and third. And that'll bring up Byron Buxton off the men on base chart. 35. Control pitcher. Tanaka has control, so therefore it will be a ground out to end the threat by the Boomba Squad. By the Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins, as the Twins threaten but do not score here in their half of the second. After 2 innings of play, it remains 3-0 in favor of the Minnesota Twins. 113. Struggler on Barrios. No. Utility on Gio. No. That'll be an RBI question mark result. And unfortunately, the decider die says yes. So therefore, the Yankees are going to get on the board thanks to an RBI from Gio Urshela. And that will now make the score 3-1, but it's still in favor of the 2019 Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins. 344. Workman on Tanaka. Oh man, Tanaka cannot catch a break here. He is a semi-workman. The decider die says he is. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result with a base running adjustment. Kepler is a stoic runner, so from 4 to a 3, not going to play the trump card yet. But they will place the runners on at first and second for Jorge Polanco to bat off the men on base chart. Oh, wow. 66. Scrapper hits single. Ooh, excuse me. Polanco is not a scrapper. Therefore, It's going to be a bases clearing double, folks. That bullpen is going for the Yankees really, really, really fast. Oh boy, as they now cough up a 5-1 lead against the Boomba Squad Twins, and that is going to bring up Nelson Cruz off the men on base chart. 36. Active batter gets runners advance 2 bases single plus a stolen base. Nelson Cruz is a stoic runner, so therefore that is going to be a contact result. And red die comes back out once more. It's a 1. Okay, so first things first, we're going to look for a flash pitcher versus a whiffer batter. We have a semi-whiffer batter against a full flash pitcher, so we have the flash pitcher covered. Is Nelson Cruz a whiffer? And according to the decider die, he is. So we're going to re-roll the decider die once more. Dot, Tanaka gets the strikeout. Blank, it'll be 6-1 Twins. And Tanaka will get a much needed strikeout over Nelson Cruz to silence the rally and silence the crowd here at Target Field for this winner take all matchup between the Boomba Squad Twins and the Bronx Bombers of the New York Yankees for this episode of Rivalry Night, as your score is now 5-1 in favor of the Minnesota Twins after 3 innings of play. Two, 4-4. Ace on Barrios. No. 2, 4, 4. Here we are. Utility on Romine. He's not. Therefore, it'll be a men on base result. -1 for the black die of control. Jose Barrios has control. So therefore, that 2 will be reduced to a 1. That'll place Romine on at first base for DJ LeMahieu off the men on base chart. Yankees need some runs here. Batting at home, unfortunately, the Yankees are the visitors for this ball game, so therefore it will be a flyout to end the top half of the fourth. We go to the bottom half of the inning as the Yankees manager has decidingly enough to go to his pen here. I wonder if this is a good strategy or not, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll see who the new pitcher is after we take this really quick timeout. We're back here at Target Field for Game 3 of this episode of Rivalry Night as Tommy Kahnle is coming up on the hill for the New York Yankees and coming out of the bullpen. Really surprisingly that the Yankees manager decided to go to his pen to hopefully keep the score right here at 5-1 in favor of the Yankees as Tommy Kahnle has semi-star, double flash, and semi-control for this at-bat against Eddie Rosario. Tommy Kahnle will have the full extent use of the control quality. That being said, let's resume play here in the bottom half of the fourth with the score Twins 5 and the Yankees 1. One, 3-3. Ace on Kahnle. No. Sadsack on Rosario. No. That's going to be an RBI question mark result, and unfortunately, it will be 6-1 Twins as the move to the bullpen did not pay off. Unbelievable. Sounds like an Aaron Boone move early on in the game. Oh, geez. It's now Twins 6, Yankees 1 as we head to the 5th inning here at Target Field for Game 3 of this episode of Rivalry Night. 2-3-5. Star on Barrios. He's a semi-star, and the decider die says he is. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result of a 5 blank, and that will seal up the deal for the first 4.5 innings here at Target Field for this winner-take-all matchup between the Twins and the Yankees as the Twins take hold of a 6-1 lead over the Bronx Bombers in the New York Yankees. 1-5-6. Ace on Kahnle. No. Sadsack on Crone. No way. That'll be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash. Kahnle has double flash from 5 to a 3. Man, oh man. The Yankees could really not catch a break here with these men on base results. They need outs here. With that being said, the runners will be placed on at first and second for Miguel Sano, who earlier on in the game hit a 3-run jack. Can he do it again? Let's find out. 12. Oh, God, you got to be kidding me. Slugger hits home run. Oh, Miguel Sano has semi-slugger. However, the decider die says he does not. So that is a huge break for the Yankees. But it will be a single, and it will be a 7-1 lead for the Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins, as it will be an RBI single for Miguel Sano. And it will now, after 5 innings of play, have the score be in the Twins' favor of a score of 7-1. On our way to the top half of the sixth with Luke Boyd up at the dish. It's a triple four. So this is going to be an umpire check. So we ask you, and again, I play my umpires as rotisserie umpires. Every umpire has, no matter which one is being asked, first, second, third, or the home plate umpire. Every umpire has all the qualities. They're semi though, and we'll refer to the decider die. If they have the quality, it's a dot. They have the quality. Blank, they don't. So with that being said, let's find out. What's the call, Blue? It's a 1, respected umpire at first base. It seems we do, unfortunately. So therefore, it will be a men on base result of a. Oh, that's huge. 5. Wow. So Luke Boyd will get a men on base result of a 5. And that'll place runners at second and third as the Yankees need runs here to hopefully come back in this one, as Didi Gregorius will bat off the men on base chart. 14, Scrapper hits single. Unfortunately, Didi Gregorius is not a scrapper, so therefore it will be a bases clearing double. 2 runs are going to come across home to score as the Yankees now tack on 2 more runs as Didi Gregorius trots his way down to second with an 2 RBI double. It's now Twins 7, Yankees 3. And we roll back on the men on base chart with a 45. Fresh pitcher gets the ground out. Barrios, since we're still in the semi-freshest innings, I go by with the decider die as dot. He's still fresh. Blank, he's not. In this case, the decider die says he is still fresh. That being said, he will get the ground out to end the top half of the 6th, but not before the Yankees scratch home 2, cross home 2, as it's now Twins 7 and the Yankees 3. One, two, four. Ace on Canely. No. 1, 2, 4. Here we are. Champ on Scope. No. It'll be a no runs result of a 1 blank, and that will take us to the 7th inning here at Target Field. We're really close to seeing who will take this episode of Rivalry Night, but so far it's Twins 7 and the Yankees 3. Who's going to walk away victorious here in this episode of Rivalry Night? 256. Workman on Barrios. No. Satsat on Gardner. No. That'll be a men on base result. -1 for the black die if flash or control. Barrios has both flash and control. They are not going to play their trump card. They are going to place runners on at first and second, as that 5 will be reduced to a 3 since Barrios has both flash and control, and that will bring up Aaron Hicks off the men on base chart. We're going to need runs here. Let's find out if that is the case. Oh, it's an 11, not the role that they wanted. Batting team harmony or pitching team dissonant. Normal games, that would come into play. But for this installment of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour inaugural season, no team is taking full advantage of who's harmonious or dissonant or not. So therefore, it will be a ground out. But what a job by Jose Barrios to keep the score right here and let the bullpens take over. It's now Twins 7 Yankees 3 as we head to the stretch here at Target Field. Nice job, well done by the fine folks here at Target Field as they sing a good rendition of God Bless America, along with Take Me Out to the Ball Game, as we resume play here in the bottom half of the seventh with a 1-2-3. Workman or Struggler on Canely. He's not. Champ on Castro. No. That'll be a no runs result of a one blank, and that is going to seal up the deal for the first 7 innings here at Target Field. We're getting closer and closer to see who is going to win this episode of Rivalry Night. Your score is Twins 7, Yankees 3 after 7 innings of play. 2-3-5. Barrios is going back out there as this manager is trusting him until he falters. 2-3-5. Star on Barrios. He's a semi-star. The decider die says yes, he is. Therefore, it'll be a no runs result. And now the Twins manager says, yep, that is enough. We're going to bring in our closer as it will be a no runs result of a 3. Since the decider die was used to check if Barrios was a star or not, 3 blank will be the no runs call for this outcome for Gio Urshela. And we head to the bottom half of the 8th with your score: Twins 7, Yankees 3. 3-5-6. 3-5-6. Here we are. Workman on Canely. No. Champ on Byron Buxton. It seems he's not. Therefore, it will be a no runs result with the possibility of a solo home run. Byron Buxton has slugger. The black die is a 6. Oh my word. Unbelievable. Byron Buxton is going to hit a solo home run to add on it some insurance run. Add on an insurance run. It's now Twins 8, Yankees 3, as we do see the closer for the Minnesota Twins still coming into the ball game. We'll see who that is after we take this really quick timeout. 5 to tie and 6 to take the lead as it's Twins 8, Yankees 3, as Taylor Rogers has the tough task at hand to keep this score right where it's at. With that being said, for this at bat against Andrew Romine, against Austin Romine, I should say, Taylor Rogers will have the full ace quality. That being said, let's find out as it's last call for the Yankees. Will the Yankees try to tie things up, or will this episode of Rivalry Night be over in favor of the Minnesota Twins? It's time to find out. 3-5-6. Workman on Rogers. No. Champ on Romine. No. That'll be a no runs result with the possibility of a solo home run. Austin Romine has slugger. That is going to be hit high, far, and gone, but it will not be enough as the Twins will win this episode of Rivalry Night 2-1 as they win game 3 by the final score of 8-4. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode of Rivalry Night as we featured the 2019 Boomba Squad Minnesota Twins as they took on the 2019 New York Yankees. It seems we ran out of time for today, but never fear. Let's see what's coming up next time here on the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. And it seems we are going to be rewinding the clock back just a little bit back to a strange 2020 World Series as the Dodgers take on the Tampa Bay Rays in as we relive the kind of weird fall classic from 2020 on the latest edition of World Series Rewind. Who will come in on top of this matchup? I guess you're going to have to stay tuned to find out for yourself next time here on the History Maker Baseball Express Hour. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the History Maker Baseball Express Hour that was being played with History Maker Baseball Express. We look forward to bringing you more matchups of Rivalry Night, World Series Rewind, Cross Era Showdown, and a blast from the past as we revisit some classic and memorable games from Major League Baseball throughout the 2026 Major League Baseball regular season.